I do believe, feedback. I do believe we are live in this very windy Thursday. What's up, everybody? Thanks for hanging out. If you have any chart requests, let me know. Although I may make fun of you. Just a heads up. I may make fun of you. For said requests, legacy or otherwise. If you're on X right now, let me know if you can see this. Just reading chat. Yes, cheap wine. That latest TJ wine video was great. What's up, Karen? Sultry ASMR, page 56. Please no. Please no. Yeah, we are. It's interesting. It's an interesting time. Let me figure out which button I'm trying to click here. There we go. Oh, I gotta put on the hat. Hold on. I gotta put on the hodling hat. Mainly because my hair is atrocious. But also because we're still hodling. Ideally. Kraken sending FTX distribution emails. That's good. That's what we need in these difficult times. So I'll be explicitly clear in my direction here. I do not believe the cycle is over. I think that's silly talk. I think that doesn't happen until maybe Q2, maybe Q4. Even thinking about that now is very, very early. We typically don't top until 300 to 500 days after halving. Halving was April 20th, 24. That brings us to April 20th, 2025. All the way out to like Q3, 4, whatever. September is usually a terrible month. Q4 onward is great. We just lived through that. January specifically is, at least since 2020 especially, has been not so great. So that's what we're living through right now. We also have everything else. That isn't tech, that isn't price, inauguration, SBR. You can go down the list and you can tell me 10 things that are bullish or bearish, and I'm going to not disagree with any of it. It's just, what do you want to do with that information right now? Do you want to do anything at all? Do you want to trade on that? Do you want to eat the downside potentially here? What is your downside target? So these are all the things I'm going to talk about. I agree, David. HODL is what it's all about. I think what most of us do is they HODL at least half of our total crypto net worth or whatever, and then they trade the rest. The people that aren't here for multiple cycles, or the people that are in the graveyard, portfolio-wise, are the people who've traded their entire portfolio, their entire net worth on leverage, and they don't make it. They just don't. So if you want to make it, especially in a time like this, position sizing way down, leverage way down, alts not it. Alts just aren't it here, for sure. They just aren't. I don't care if they 10x from here. They're just the divergence between downside and upside here is so wide, and that's on BTC and that's on the S&P. So to do anything in altcoin land is just a massive coin flip right now. So why don't I think the cycle's over? These are the top 4 charts I care about. Power law corridor gives us plenty of room. I don't care if we go to 300, 400, 600, a million, whatever the cycle. I don't care. All I care about is, where are we relative to where we've been historically, relative to having. Do we have ceiling that is miles away? We do. That's it. End of story. If we were at 250, 350, whatever, then it's easier to say the cycle's over. If we get in that range post Q2, throughout Q2, Q4, whatever, then I think it's appropriate to start talking about cycle over talk. It's interesting, you don't hear people talking about the cycle being over. I'm guessing, like, this is my future self talking to my future self. If we get that high, you're going to be hearing people with targets of 500,000, a million. That happens on price expansion in either direction. So it's just, for me, another reason that I don't think the cycle's over. That's just sentiment. That's not price. But Power law, tons of room. Okay, great. 2-year moving average multiplier, extremely high hit rate. I'd argue never wrong. Now it's got some falser signals, but historically very good. That gives us a ceiling much higher still. And if we were anywhere near 250 at this point in time, I'd say yes. It's all about risk reward. Looking at the power law, if your ceiling is 388, whatever this is, and your realistic downside is the 20-week moving average, let me just make this black. Basis black, gray. We'll go gray. All right, if your trailing stop loss is 80 and your upside is 388, there's your risk reward. Okay, still pretty good. Still pretty good. The third one is MVRV. We look fine. MVRV is at 228. Doesn't top out until it's at like 7 plus. We look good there. And then lastly, the cup and handle on BTC looks fine. Still, 20-week moving average is at 80. Like I said, that would be a great trailing stop loss. I'm hearing a few people talk about 70. I would rather not, personally. I don't know about all y'all, but I'd rather not go back to 70. I think 80 makes a lot of sense on a wick. If we get to 70, then things get messy because then we're trying to negate the broader trend here. And historically, we don't dive in and out of the 20-week moving average. Usually it's a pretty good bottom signal in a bull trend. So if we are living below 80, then we're in trouble in a bigger way. So those are the 4 charts I care about the most. All of them say no issues here whatsoever for the cycle. CoinGlass put together their own list. I think everybody should put together whatever list they want, but they have this on their website. If you ever want to pull it up, I'll put the link in the description of the video. I'm kind of curious if they pulled this from me. Probably not. But anyway, interesting list, different list of stuff. Their own estimate here is also, none of these are printing some sort of cycle top. So either everything is wrong and nothing matters, or it's not the top, right? If we're talking about flows for the ETFs, they have been bearish. They have been outflows, basically. I don't hate that. I would have loved to have seen bigger outflows, like biggest outflow day on record. That is ideal. Markets are closed today, obviously, so we're not going to see inflows or outflows, but we're definitely leaning bearish on the flows. And just comparing last quarter to the beginning of this quarter, you can see last quarter we had just IBIT buying. It's the blue on the bars there. Huge buys from IBIT most of the time. And towards December and the beginning of this quarter, it's been more wishy-washy. ETH is just dead again. Really nothing going on there in ETH land. And of course, last night we had the U.S. government announce that they may have sold or could sell or something. We don't know. There's no way to really know. You can look at the on-chain stuff. Even that isn't 100% proof positive because this stuff could be pre-funded. It could be sold OTC piecemeal. We don't know. But this is 69,000 BTC to be sold or has been sold. Again, no way of really knowing. Bullish if it's already been sold. Bearish if it hasn't been, because they don't care. They're up a gajillion % on this since they seized it from Silk Road. So like Germany, they're going to sell it. They don't care, right? And then on the macro side, we've got jobs tomorrow. Right, tomorrow's the 10th. Yeah, we've got the unemployment rate tomorrow. That's going to jostle rates probabilities. I don't know. We can guess and we can say if it's above 4.2, that's going to be whatever. I don't know. I just think the decision tree is so wide as far as what the number is going to be and then what the market reaction is going to be. I don't know. I don't know. Literally, I don't know. So definitely watch for that. And then the rest of this stuff, liquidity is still not great. Dollar's still very high. Interest rates, that picture we just talked about, it's not like that's getting any clearer. This geopolitical stuff with Greenland, Canada, and Panama Canal, and God knows what else Trump cooks up. I don't think that's helping things. Like, why? Why now, right? Like, it's just so bizarrely out of left field. It doesn't make sense to me. And then on the crypto technical side, we'll talk about the rest of this on low time frames. It doesn't look good. Momentum is bearish. Technicals increasingly bearish. Flows we mentioned, not bullish. We are getting the FTX distribution money, which sure, great. That's what, 3 billion or something like that. I don't think it's actually 3. I think it's like 1. And then U.S. government selling. So the title of the stream was talking about the bearish TK cross. How the cloud works is the main driver for trend is price above or below the cloud. So since September, we've been above the cloud. That's been bullish. Things get less obvious when we get into the cloud, and we could enter such period below 92K. The intra-trend strength is the TK cross. And when we look at this, we do not get a TK cross frequently on the daily using these settings. This is doubled crypto, it's adjusted, et cetera, 2061, 2030. We are poised to get a TK cross here, bearish TK cross on Saturday. I think no matter what, even if price jumps like $10,000, I'm pretty sure we get a bearish cross. So as a cloud trader, that's a huge signal in a bearish direction. And it was kind of the worst fears because we broke 100 and then immediately sold all the way down to the bottom of the range again. And even this can be quote unquote wrong, but at a 50,000 foot view, the TK cross is telling me that it's just not it. Right now, probably until Q2, we're not going to get a great signal here to the long side on BTC. It's going to be hard to convince me otherwise that this looks anywhere bullish. It's going to be difficult because this is not a bullish picture here. One of the reasons I talk about Williams Fractal so much is because it actually pulled you out fairly early on, like mid-December at like 97K. Pulls you out somewhere back here. Technically not, but you know, it broke the Tenkin, it broke the old fractal on a wick. It's just like layers and levels of momentum dying, right? So do we trip Williams fractals? Do we trip the Tenkin? Do we get a bearish TK cross? We're going from very bullish to less bullish to less bullish to less bullish to neutral to bearish. So we're entering a very neutral, potentially bearish period on technicals, on low time frames. And that's how you'd read that with the cloud. Now we can compare this to what happened same time last year, 2024. We had ETFs launching, we had GBTC dumping on us. Kind of the same setup. Maybe this time the dumping on us is going to be the US government. I don't know. We had the edge to edge setup. We had the bearish TK cross. We ended up printing a inverted head and shoulders here on lower time frames. We didn't quite get the edge to edge because the stab into the cloud occurred before the bearish cross. Wonky, whatever. So, okay, this time, what are we looking for? If we get a bearish TK cross, then price goes into the cloud, my call on 80 is like 100%. My confidence level on that is 100%. So, yeah, you could say I'm still bearish. It's just unfortunate that we had this fake out at 100 and then just got slammed down. Worst case for me here is that we don't we don't break 92 and then we just stop here and do whatever. So if it's like last year, we do see an attempt lower, but if it's if we break in 92 after Saturday, I think there's a very high chance we try to go to 80. Very high chance. So that's just like eating at me here. And if you're bearish BTC, there's nothing else that's going to be bullish. You could argue, oh, the U.S. government isn't selling ETH or SOL, so those are going to be less bearish. I mean, you can say that, but in reality, we'll see, right? We'll see if they aren't as bearish, but I think they're going to be as bearish, if not more bearish. Rocking the orange jumpsuit. This isn't even the orange jumpsuit. Alternatively, we could do this here. If for whatever some miraculous reason we get this, like this is possible. It's just difficult to say. It's a mess, right? This inverted head and shoulders. How many times are we going to try to print this fractal and fail? I don't know. You know, I was bullish up here. I'm bearish down here. That's just the nature of the beast. Okay, I'm a trend trader. I'm not a range trader or whatever. We could see this. If you're bullish, this is what you want to see, for sure. If you're bullish, you do not want to see us breaking 92. Absolutely. But if the S&P breaks down, if the dollar breaks up, I can't imagine we hold 92. Even with Sailor buying, it's going to be very hard. It's like Sailor versus the U.S. government right now, right? So, man, I don't know. It just feels very bearish to me. Let me read chat here. Do I set bids at 12K? Well, here's one way to play this. If you want to cast a wide net, let's get rid of this. If you want to cast a wide net, if we think, let's just pretend we think 80. Bottom of the cloud is high confidence level. I don't care if it's a wick. I don't care if it's 12 picoseconds. It doesn't matter to me. I think that's a high confidence level. And what you could do is just say, okay, every 1,000 or every 2,000, you know, you set some bids. You could use the ladder function on Kraken Desktop to do that. You can layer this so that a majority of the bids are towards the bottom. But I think you do this and then you root for a pullback if this is what you want to see. You could even get rid of, you know, depending on how loose you want to make it, you can get rid of some of those bids at the top. And focus on the bottom, do whatever, but I think patience makes a lot of sense here. Also, if this is a multi-shouldered head and shoulders, which everyone, including myself, thought this maybe is negated. Doesn't look negated now. That also measures to like 85 to 80. So you could maybe even concentrate some bids down here. And if this is a 10 to 15% move lower from current prices, you could say on alts 20 to 30%. Why not, right? Alts usually are 2x BTC. So that's how I would play this. Cycle tops do not happen without dumb money being max bull. I'm not going to disagree with you there for sure. How does the cycle end? Time or TA? I mean, if we hit these targets, I'm not going to be here saying, man, we're going to go higher. I'm going to be here saying, sorry, I'm selling cold storage up here. As will a lot of people. As will a lot of people. Saying buy a straddle. I don't know about a straddle. So a straddle would be a long and a short at the same time. I think the problem with that is the range here is so wide. Like, where would your short stop loss be at post Saturday? So, like, we'll know by setup Sunday on Sunday. Where would your stop loss be? It would be 100K again. So if you're, if you want to take this trade as your straddle, you could. It's not a great setup. You could take that, and then on the long side, I guess you could say your stop loss would be way tighter, whatever this local low is. Your target would probably be 125, which is, it improves the risk reward ratio substantially, but the odds of that actually happening probably minimal. Especially if the stop loss gets tripped. So the reality there is, I don't know. You could play it like that. You could play it as a straddle. I just don't think. I think the odds of you getting stopped out are high on the long side, and the odds of you eating not so great P&L on the short side are decently high as well. Yeah, and I'd put miners in that conversation too. With alts, I'd put MSTR in that conversation. If BTC goes down 15%, MSTR is gonna get washed hard, like sub 250, right? What's up, Trav? I do not know what the coinable situation is. Could this be setting up for a TK cross recross? Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying here is the better trade is do nothing until you see a TK recross, which last time took us into mid-February. At that time, we had the ETF launch as a catalyst. This time you could say maybe the Trump presidency kicking off will be a catalyst, maybe SBR, whatever, right? I don't know. But that's how it looked last year. It was bearish until mid-February. Dixie's not going to stop. Debt yield. Yeah, that's definitely worrying if DXY continues to be bullish, which there's no reason it can't. Technicals on this look very bullish to me still. And that's a problem for crypto, definitely. It's odd that we've been as bullish as we've been in the face of as much bullishness on DXY and a drop in liquidity. Does the U.S. government pay capital gains on the BTC they sell? That's a good question. I'd imagine no, right? But maybe. I don't know. You have to change. You change bull to bear and only after the fact. Eugene, I was bearish. What was I bearish? Like the end of last year, beginning of this year. I said if we break 100, I'm less bearish, but the possibility of 80 is still there. I'm just looking at the cloud. You don't even need me to know what I'm going to say. I'm just going to say I'm a conduit. The cloud, the lightning strikes through my body, through my spinal cord, and words come out, and that's what the cloud is saying. So, yeah, we had the potential above 100, but ultimately didn't happen. And much like January 2024, we could just not go to 80 and still recover. But 80 would be the target, which is all the more reason than if you're bidding this, NFA, not financial advice, if you're bidding this, I like kind of a wide net, like I said. So something at maybe 90, something at 87, 84, 82, 80, whatever. And you just let it be. Now, if you're bearish, if you're really bearish, you just do nothing until probably March. Like, you just see how this goes. But I don't think people can do that. Most people just sit out and do nothing. Sale proceeds go to the TGA. Do they go to the TGA? I don't actually know. It's the U.S. Marshals, right? So I don't know who gets the money. Does ETH look like hot garbage? Yeah, it doesn't look great. Tried using Ichimoku on slower times, and I felt it was hard to get into trades on lower time frames. cloud shaman. The reason I like this on high time frames and not low time frames is because it's not giving you 10,000 signals every day. It's giving you a signal once a quarter, if that. The previous signal here was back here in September, October. And now this is the next signal in January. In times of non-trending periods or low volatility, it is a mess. But you have to read the room and you have to know what is going on. We are approaching potentially a period of lower volatility and or downward volatility. That would be the read here. But this looks increasingly bearish by the day here. So that's BTC. And if we look at like the S&P, I got some bad news. For the S&P. This head and shoulders has not gone away. And the exact same setup, the exact same trade is there on the S&P. If dollar is up and S&P is down, where do you think that leaves BTC? It could go in the opposite direction. It's just harder to do so. So downside here is 5,600, which wouldn't even be crazy. That would be totally fine. It's the same setup. It's the same trade. It's never different. Ever. Ever, ever, ever. It gets to the point where momentum dies off and the best setup is always a full reset. Full reset. That's not a full reset. That's just TK cross recross. This is actually a full reset back here. Bearish TK cross, bullish TK cross, price above cloud breakout. That took a quarter into Q4 in last time we saw this. We may not get the full reset. We may just get the TK cross recross. But this does not look bullish at all. Until this is back above 6,000 plus, it's just not bullish. Basically, hodl if you're a maxi and check back in March. That's probably great advice. Lord Hamon. Dominance rising. All right, yeah, let's talk about alts. I think everyone knows my position on BTC. If this breaks 92 tomorrow on unemployment news or whatever into Saturday, it's just, that's not bullish at all. ETH has had its bearish TK cross for a few days now. That's it. Okay. The cloud is telling you zero expectations of bullishness, neutrality, volatility, potentially bearishness. If this is in fact some sort of weird head and shoulders thing, then that measures somewhere down here, sub 2,800. So for ETH, it would be again 15 to 20, but realistically, you probably get a washout. Like if we drop quickly, and let's be honest, this is what you want. You always want a quick answer. You always want to be on the correct side of the emotional trade, which would be having bids ready versus selling at 2,800. But if you've got bids waiting at 2,800 or lower, what you want is people emotionally capitulating to like 2,200, but you want your bids to be there already ahead of time. So this doesn't need to do anything, but if I had to pick long or short, it would be short, and it would be rebuying below 28. It just doesn't look good. Doesn't look good. ETH looks horrific. Sol, horrific. Awful. Just zero bullishness whatsoever. That's like, we're talking 125, 130. If we get maximum bearishness, that's where that goes. And it doesn't get any better the deeper we go down the list. Doge would be below 20 cents. I don't think it gets back to 15, but maybe on a wick. It kind of depends on the day. Like if it's a weekday during US hours, maybe we don't wick as far, but if it's a random day at 3 a.m. Eastern, then yeah, we probably wick decently low. All we need is debt ceiling resolution. And Dixie could pull back. And I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know. Ripple oddly still looks fine, but it's not going to hold up if everything else pulls back. Sui or Sui, however you say this, still looks good. It looks better than BTC, that's for sure, right? But the question is a buy, sell, or hold up here. For now, it's a hold. It's not a sell yet, but I can't imagine it would be a buy up here until stuff gets angry. 50% of this whole move is like $2. So if I had to blindly put bids on this, it would probably be somewhere down there. Yeah, somewhere sub 2. But that's a huge, what is that? That's a 50, 60% drop. Okay, I don't think that's realistic. I don't know, maybe like 3 then, if not 2. That's 30%. 2 would be a little dramatic. Is the government exempt from paying okay, from paying tax? Yeah, I don't think if they sell the BTC they pay tax on that. I assume. Yeah, that's the other thing, like Travis saying, this has done so well for so long, much better than everything else. I mean, this is up almost 400% from October or September. Still. So to give some of that back would not be crazy to do. When I see this chart, I think about Palantir. Similar vibes. I think Palantir is a worse head and shoulders at the top. We can even go on like the hourly. So Sui doesn't quite have this going for it yet, but this is not something that I would sit in either after it is up. Let's just go July. From July, it is up 160% still. 150 still. So buy, sell, or hold. Yeah, I'm selling this. You're losing the Tenkin bigly. And ideally you sold somewhere way up there already. The fractals have been messy. They've not been perfect. You did lose a fractal at 72 up there, and you lost the Tenkin. And this is clearly, parabolic and then flat. And that flat is a head and shoulders. So this looks more bearish to me than Sui does. But, you don't want to be the person chasing this after, 8 months of bullishness and 150%? Probably not the smartest thing. I agree, Yada. It's not the cycle top. I talked about that at the beginning. It is, if it is not a halving cycle but liquidity cycle, how to track global liquidity on TradingView. So there is an equation. I don't know if this still works. It might be broken. There is a global liquidity equation that has a bunch of like Forex conversions in it. M2. Hold on, let me do it like this. We'll take this here. We'll put it here. Yeah, see, at some point it got messed up. That can't be right. Yeah, something messed it up. My equation currently isn't working, but there is a way to calculate it on TradingView. I wonder if there's like a global liquidity. Here we go. What does this look like? Is that close to reality? It looks close to reality, right? Let me go to something else here. Hold on. We'll go to daily. It looks close to reality, right? No, that looks like US liquidity. I don't know. It exists. There's an equation and or an indicator that you can find that. For Sol memes. So for the fast stuff, you may have to just go down a time frame on alts. It's always best if we go to like Doge and we zoom way out. It's always best if there is something here on higher time frames. WIF is another example. This chart looks awful. Woof. Woof. Look at this thing. Even this. Just awful. So it's always best if you can see something on higher time frames. Like this is clearly not bullish. The cloud settings might be too slow for fast moving stuff like alts, but generally not wrong. You know, I told you on December 14th that this was not the place to be. And it's been very right. So if you're getting a signal on these settings, for me, no matter what it is, it shouldn't be ignored. Should not be ignored. So green point. Analysis was completely off. I think I was way too bullish in 2018. If we go way back here. I was bullish when I had no reason to be. The cloud was correct, just to be clear. I was the one who was like, this could be a Wyckoff bottom. This could be a falling wedge. The whole time, the cloud of 2018 was telling you there's just 0% chance of bullishness. It never got back above the daily cloud. The entire time, the whole year, it was below the cloud. So I was probably too bullish back here in the face of that. Absolutely. But that was just me being dumb. That wasn't like, I think another issue was we were already down 70% from the highs. But that was on me. You know, the cloud called it. We can even rewind the clock, go back here. Like the whole time the cloud was like, yeah, this is not the place to be. Not the place to be. Not the place to be. It's, you know, it's like ETH-BTC, as people are kind of saying. ETH-BTC, you can try to guess and say, this could be the bottom, or this could be the bottom, or this could be the bottom. Why does this chart look wrong to me? Am I just crazy? Oh, it's because okay. ETH-BTC daily cloud, it's tried to get bullish. It's been hyper noisy, which is why you got to go up on the time frames, 2-day, 3-day. Like we're nowhere close to bullishness. Still, theoretically, I just still think that on lower time frames, this has a chance at pulling up because ETH tends to do better in the first half of the year. That's all. Chelsea, I do not think WIF holds the lows. I don't think any meme coin holds the lows. If BTC is bearish, everything is going way lower. Way lower. What's up, Joey? Especially stuff that has no real use case. Especially. We can go down the list. Pepe, to me, also head and shoulders. This probably goes lower. Can't imagine that holds. these are all just leveraged BTC. So if BTC is down 5, these are going to be down more. Where are the other ones? They're just way down the list now. Bonk. What about this is bullish here? For me, I'm not the trend person, or sorry, I'm not the range person, so I'm not going to say, oh, this is down blah 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 in the range percentage wise, blah blah blah. I want to see a trend, and that's not. There is none. There is none at all. SHIB, same thing. Just looks awful. Looks like a head and shoulders, diamond top, whatever. Doesn't look bullish. It could pull up. It could do a lot of things, but if I had to take a trade here, it wouldn't be higher, just on how it looks right now. And that's just everything across the board. No matter where you try to go to look for something, Sui, Ripple, those are probably the two most bullish. Render, bearish, near, bearish. I mean, it's all just kind of the same version of price action here across the board. I don't think there's like a standout that's going to hold up super well if BTC breaks. All right, that's crypto. Let's talk about legacy for a minute. MSTR, because I know a lot of people are focused on that one. If we go to Legacy Cloud and we look here, so on the daily, the cloud is still saying no, stay out of this. It can be 10,000 things going forward. It's the pluripotent stem cell. It can be anything. It could be anything. Could go to 3,000. It could go to 30. Okay, I don't know. The cloud is just saying this is hugely choppy, volatile nonsense. Bearish TK cross pricing cloud. That's on the daily. If we go to like the 4-hour, previously there was this case for some sort of diagonal head and shoulders. Now here there's a case to be made for a inverted head and shoulders. If MSTR is bullish, like let's just say, let's think about something crazy, and we say Sailor is going to be part of the strategic Bitcoin reserve. Okay, would MSTR be bullish in that environment? Probably. It would probably be pretty bullish. So that would help. That would be a fundamental catalyst. But I don't think BTC is bullish until MSTR is bullish. MSTR is leading BTC. It's like the highest sentiment, highest leverage. So if you get this, which is possible, you'd want MSTR above 370. That's possible. But here, I don't think it's a trade. That's not for me. It just doesn't look bullish to me. If we pop on the pitchfork, where was that? It was like back here. Pitchfork, it's like something like this, right? Something like that. The midpoint of the pitchfork is still pretty low. It's sub 300, certainly. So that would be another potential condition where I'd look at this, but the cloud is telling you stay the heck away from this thing. Stay away. Coin, same thing as other alts. It just looks like an inverted cup and handle to me. It looks weak. Doesn't look good. Square was one that also had a lower time frame head and shoulders, higher time frame mega massive inverted head and shoulders. I still like this chart on high time frames. Like if you're bullish the rest of the cycle, this chart Square should still do well. I think it looks fine. Or some of the other ones that I'm forgetting. PayPal looks fine. No issues there. Is it a buy, hold, or sell here? I think it's just a hold. I don't think it's a buy just yet. Hood, that train is so far out of the station. Certainly don't think it's a buy up here. It's like Palantir at whatever price it's up. It did really well in 2024. So I think you're just better off elsewhere. Doesn't mean it can't do well. Just not the place to be. BitX on the 4-hour is something else maybe to watch for a leveraged play. This, again, this has been bearish on low time frame since before the end of the year. And that hasn't changed. So I wouldn't touch leverage until this thing flips bullish again. We can look at CME. CME has been bearish on the 4-hour for a while. It's not as bearish on the daily as spot, but I can't imagine this miraculously pulls up when spot doesn't. So miners are just atrociously awful. There's just nothing here for me. Like, they can do well in any given day. They can be plus or minus 25%. But what is the trend here? I don't think there is one. It's just ranging, 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 ranging. That's the miner ETF WGMI. Wolf just looks awful. Clean Spark, horrible. Iron, awful. Mara, terrible. Riot, awful. BTF or BitF, awful. Cypher, awful. All these just look terrible. HUT looks the best and it looks ready for a bearish to get across. So why? I just don't understand. I don't understand why anybody's trading this stuff. I just don't. They don't look good. They haven't looked good. I think if you're trading any of this stuff, you're just hoping that eventually it's bullish and that the multiple opportunity cost plays out in your favor eventually, like IREN to 25 or something. But man, does not look good. Alts, I don't think I'm holding anything. I'm holding ETH to 0 because I still think it's going to be bullish. Do I hold any other alts? No, I don't. Nothing. No Sol. Nothing. Holding some cash. Yeah, it just looks like a choppy pause. Can crack an IPO and do a coin IPO, like coin, what? I think Kraken tries the IPO in 25. I think Circle tries the IPO. I think a bunch of others try too as well. I don't think there's a huge economic crash coming, but I think the markets do not look too bullish to me. I talked about all those, talked about those. I thought I had, did I not save it? Oh, there it is. I made an EV list. Tesla buy, sell, or hold here. I hold / sell? I don't know. Like, what's your time horizon? What's your target? Is your time horizon the next 4 years and like singularity? And then you're talking about 1,000 price target. But if you are just trading the technicals, it's certainly rolled over quite a bit. I would rather, now these are more of a gamble, but I would rather trade stuff like this that hasn't quite broken out yet. This is Rivian. Who knows if it goes to 60 to 90? I don't know. It might get tariffed to death. It might get disbanded. I don't know, right? Like a million things could happen here, but on technicals, if this could break the cloud, that'd be great for the bulls. Some of these others I mentioned in a video this week, XPEV, still a little early. Mobileye broke way down. Oh my God. Down like, what is this? 26%. EH is probably one worth watching too, because it's just been consolidating for so long. Same thing with QS. QS has been consolidating for a long time. Neo is probably a wait and see. Lucid's probably a wait and see. Polestar probably a wait and see. I did hop out of the EV/AV this week at like 32, 33, somewhere up here. So that was a fine trade overall. I talked about the dollar, S&P, NASDAQ. I don't see a trade here. Just chop, 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 chop. IWM, bearish chop, down chop, bad chop. DJI, head and shoulders, down chop. None of these indices look good here at all. 10-year looks very bullish, which is bearish everything else. TLT, very bearish. Does not look good. What else we got? Any other requests before we shuffle off? Has anyone tried to submit for staking? Depending on how the SEC feels about staking. Previously, I think they said it was an investment contract. Depending on how they feel going forward, it may require a different ETF. As in like a new wrapper for the ETF. So it hasn't been tried yet to get submitted, but it'll likely try in 2025 for sure. Mara, I talked about for 2 seconds. It looks awful. All the miners look awful. They just do. Nothing here about this chart tells me anything other than sideways chop. So if you want to sit in sideways chop for another year, go for it. Like this could go to 28 and then break out. It's just, it has showed zero momentum. None. David was asking, sorry, Redfin. Let me look at that one real quick. Is this housing or something? This just looks like nonsense to me. I don't really see anything here. Maybe there's like a ascending triangle potentially later on in the year. Maybe if like mortgage rates come down, if this is the Redfin I'm thinking of, you know, you could put alerts at like 12 and just forget about it. KRE, sure, we can take a look. KRE on the cloud. I don't really see an entry here. It's bullish, but it's, what's the trade, right? I don't really see a trade on KRE. Ally. Also just chop. What about the Trump Bank? What was it? Was it this one? No. They changed the name. Is it this one? Yeah, it's this one. Flagstar. This is Mnuchin's baby. Baby. Doesn't look good. Tethered dominance. I don't know. More stable coins is better. We'll put it like that. SOUN? SoundHound AI. Nothing I touch here. It's like the Palantir thing. Like the move is, you're like a quarter late on the move, right? The move was parabolic. From 4 to 24, you had some sort of triangle head and shoulders thing. It's like, that's just not for me. The entry was here at 6. Not for me. NVIDIA, go SMH. SMH, like BTC, just broke out and then immediately pulled back. I don't know. This just looks like months of chop, right? There's directionless nonsense here. NVIDIA, same, broke out, all-time high, immediately pulled back. I don't really think there's anything here. Just nothing. I don't know. Like, what do you do here? Probably nothing. Probably just sit out and watch. BLQC. Is that the right ticker? I don't think so. I don't know which ticker that is. NVIDIA looks like a rising wedge. I mean, I don't know. It's just, there's a clear difference between what happened in early 24 and mid 24 to now, right? It's just flat. There's nothing. There was a head and shoulders. It didn't break down. I got nothing. Previously, you had just huge moves over and over and over, huge impulses. Here, I don't see a trade here at all on NVIDIA. What is the inverse? Is it SOX? No. What is the inverse one? I'm blanking. Inverse SMH. What is it? I guess you could do NVDS too. I don't know. It's like trading MSTX puts. It just feels very, very coin flippy. Block Quarry QC. What do they do? Are they miners? That's an ugly chart. I like it above 10 cents. SOXS, that's it. Yeah, 3x bear. 3x bear semiconductor. I mean, it's an idea, right? You could say all-time lows is my stop loss. Not a trade I'm taking or will take, but you could say, like, if you're truly bearish, semis or whatever, that's one way you could do it. Yeah, AI, I don't have a list of AI stuff. Didn't it all pull back like 40% this week? Yeah, Dixie still looks very bullish. NTAP. You got this. Is this Wyckoff distribution? I'm not an expert. Might be. Kind of looks like it to me. Not bullish. Not bullish. You guys are supposed to bring me bullish things in the chat. This is why we have this interaction. You're supposed to bring me setups that are ready to go, that I just go from here to my account. I click long. These are all depressing. What about stuff like figs? Give me something to long. Figs looks okay. Figs looks okay. What was another one? I think Zoom, you're probably late. Yeah, it's a little late for Zoom. Peloton, a little late as well. DocuSign, what does that look like? Yeah, definitely late on that one. LTC. Alts look not great here as we try to break 92 again on BTC. I think that's all we got. TLT looks bearish. Have you seen all the red numbers of what? Yeah, TLT. What is there to like here to the long side? If you're bullish, you're hoping for something like this, I guess. But if you go to like the daily, you did have this before the breakdown. What does this measure? This measures the like 82, 78. I mean, I think that's a decent place to maybe take a stab. Within a stop loss just at the low. Oh no, I haven't seen any of the numbers on figs. I don't care about numbers. What do numbers do to this chart? Numbers don't do anything. What does it matter? This looks ripe for the picking. NMT. All right. Last one. NMT. Nuveen, Massachusetts Quality Municipal Income Fund. Is this somebody's pension? Is this guy gonna sell his pension if I give him some bad news? It's bullish. Where does this measure? If we go like this, 12, 13. This is without the dividend. If we think this is like similar to DLT, honestly, like there was a lot of this bond stuff. Oh God, boom, boom, boom. I don't know, something like that. It almost got there. I don't know. If you're a community member, then you're probably fine. I don't think it's bullish though. WBA. Oof. Walmart. Oh man. I mean, this could be like an M&A play. This could be like some event catalyst stuff. The tech isn't great. It trying to do something. I don't know. That could be an ascending triangle. That could be an inverted head and shoulders. It's an idea, right? It's an idea. I don't hate it. I don't love it. It was clearly, if we flip this chart, it's inverse Palantir, right? It's just a parabolic move to the downside. I don't hate it. I don't hate it. What does it look like? Like the 2-day, 3-day. I mean, it's a trade. I don't hate it. Yeah, I agree. Worth watching. Maybe set an alert at like 970. Let me do that. 970. Another one that looks like this was Stellantis. still just like this could be something. The fundamentals here are awful. I have an alert at 13.8. But yeah, this one looks rough. Very rough. All right, I think that's all I got for this one today. Thanks for hanging out. Give me a like, dislike, comment, share, subscribe. And we'll talk again for Setup Sunday.